Hey y'all, it's Kim. So this is Tulsi Gabbard. I just saw this on something. She's talking about how she released documents about Anthony Fauci using taxpayer funds to basically fund a biolab. Anyway, I don't know what you feel about the COVID thing and all the stuff that went on with that. But anyway, I'm gonna let her speak, and then we'll go through maybe one or two documents. I saw something on the Office of Director of National Intelligence website about it, so it's like a press release. But let's let her speak. Let me make sure this is all the way up. Hopefully, it's got good sound. Let's go.
Before the COVID pandemic, Dr. Fauci, as head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, provided millions in US taxpayer dollars to fund dangerous gain of function research on bat coronaviruses at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, work which is now widely viewed as the source of the unintentional lab leak that sparked the pandemic. Now, in support of President Trump's maximum transparency mandate, today, on my final day as Director of National Intelligence, I'm releasing never-before-seen communications and documents that expose exactly how Fauci worked with politicized career leadership in the intelligence community to suppress the truth about his actions, the virus's lab leak origins, and his role in directing U.S. funding for this dangerous research that caused immeasurable harm and countless lost lives. Now, these documents expose Fauci's direct role in influencing and manipulating IC assessments on COVID-19 and how Fauci lied to Congress in 2024 when, under oath, he denied knowledge of or participation in discussions with intelligence officials about viral research. We also received testimony from multiple intelligence community whistleblowers who reported retaliation for challenging the intelligence community's manipulation of intelligence on the virus's origins, once again revealing a clear pattern of suppressing dissent, silencing critics, and burying the truth. Dr. Fauci's close relationships with the intelligence community enabled him to assume three key roles that shield him from scrutiny. First, Dr. Fauci funded dangerous gain-of-function coronavirus research linked to big pharma and their pursuit of universal vaccines worth trillions of dollars. Second, Dr. Fauci was the behind-the-scenes advisor who, alongside his hand-picked so-called experts, pushed the intelligence community to endorse a natural animal origin to hide his dangerous gain-of-function research that he funded using taxpayer dollars, all of this in a deliberate attempt to cover up the truth and shift the blame and attention away from Fauci's own actions. Third, Dr. Fauci became the nation's pandemic pundit, and he publicly pushed lies, disinformation, and censorship using every platform available. Now, according to hundreds of reviewed emails, which are included in this release, the intelligence community almost always incorporated Fauci's recommendations. He promoted a fraudulent paper whose publication he helped prompt as legitimate information for intelligence community consideration. Senior analysts praised Dr. Fauci, not as a policymaker, but as what they called an unbiased guide to the real coronavirus experts, while deliberately ignoring experts who might dissent from Fauci's narratives. Now, Fauci didn't stop there. He blatantly lied to Congress under oath during his 2024 testimony to the House Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Pandemic, denying that he ever spoke to any intelligence agency about COVID. Now, the correspondence I'm releasing today directly contradicts his sworn testimony. Now, we received statements from multiple whistleblowers revealing that the intelligence analysts who dared to challenge Dr. Fauci's COVID origin conclusions faced threats of retaliation, marginalization, and many suffered career setbacks. For example, a contractor was terminated just days after coming forward to ODNI as a whistleblower. Another example, those who advocated for the lab leak hypothesis or expressed dissenting views were reminded by their managers that leadership would determine which analysts would be promoted and which would not. The message was clear: go along or be punished. Senior leaders also sought to undermine whistleblowers by removing anonymity, which is required in the whistleblower process, as they made their complaints, and also insisting that their managers or attorneys be present during ODNI meetings where these whistleblowers were coming forward with their testimony, obviously creating an atmosphere of intimidation. The COVID pandemic caused tremendous hardship and pain for millions of our fellow Americans and countless people around the world. Now, after years of lies and censorship and cover-ups, the American people deserve transparency, truth, and accountability. The tactics that were used to hide the truth are straight from the deep state playbook. Politicized self-serving leaders like Dr. Fauci covered up their own wrongdoing and abuses of power, manipulated intelligence, lied to Congress, and undermined a duly elected president by restricting his access to the vital facts he needed to keep the country safe. It's time you know the truth.
Wow. Okay. So over here, let me get out of this. If it'll get me out of the screen. Hold on. I don't know why it's doing it that way. Let me share my screen again. Sorry. Okay. So over here.
Before the COVID pandemic, Dr. Fauci,
sorry. This thing, it keeps playing in the background. Okay. We don't want that. So over here, this is the Office of Director of National Intelligence. This is a press release. June 12, 2026, DNI Gabbard reveals evidence of U.S. taxpayer-funded global biolab program. Washington, D.C., after months of searching through intelligence community holdings and files, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard is revealing new evidence of longstanding United States government funding for more than 120 biolabs in over 30 countries. These biolabs include labs in Ukraine, which may be at risk of compromise due to the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. And for example, the intelligence community previously warned that a U.S.-funded biolab in Ukraine likely housed dangerous pathogens and remained vulnerable to long-standing threats of Russian attack, seizure, and damage. So if you ever heard about the anthrax letters or something like that, it was right after 9/11. There's a movie about it. But anyway, there was some anthrax that was actually released from a biolab in Ukraine. Just saying. But anyway, there's newly declassified evidence can be found here, which we'll go ahead and open that in a new link. We won't go through all of it now. It says until now, evidence regarding, the full existence and funding of these laboratories have been knowingly withheld from the American people. The information surrounding the existence, history, locations, and funding of these U.S.-funded biolabs has been intentionally covered up by powerful people falsely, claiming that they do not exist and accusing anyone who says otherwise to be foreign assets and traitors to America. Many of these U.S. Government-funded biolabs are currently or have previously engaged in research using hazardous and highly contagious pathogens, in some cases to include dangerous gain-of-function research with very little visibility or oversight. President Trump understands the serious threat dangerous gain-of-function research poses to the American people, which is why he took decisive action on May 25th, 2025, signing Executive Order 14292 to end federal funding of gain-of-function research around the world. Despite the obvious potential for catastrophic global impact, research on dangerous pathogens in biolabs can have politicians, so-called health professionals like Dr. Fauci, and entities within the Biden administration's national security team lied to the American people about the existence of the U.S.-funded and supported biolabs and threatened those who attempted to expose the truth. ODNI will continue to work closely with partners across the government to identify where these labs are, what pathogens they contain, to end dangerous gain-of-function research that threatens the health and well-being of the American people and people around the world, said DNI Gabbard. DNI Gabbard issued new guidance to the intelligence community directing increased collection on these laboratories and facilities overseas. This directive is already providing new details on clinical trials that are underway at these facilities, raising significant ethical, financial, and security concerns regarding these supposed public health initiatives and U.S. national security. Let's just see what this other thing is that opened up. Ooh, okay, let's see here. So this is veterinary research facility in Kharkiv, I don't know, Kharkiv, ongoing target of Russian misinformation and other potential operations. I just want to look through this really quick. Over 40 labs built and supported. Ooh, that's not good. Biolab 4. Yeah, that's not good. That's the one that's got like the Ebola and all that stuff. Really, really bad diseases that can spread. Almost like on that movie, The Outbreak, if you've ever watched it. Or even more recently, I watched Contagion again. But anyway, you can always slow this down if you need to. Stop it, pause it right here on each page. And then that way you can look at this stuff. Anyway, I just thought I'd pull this up since this stuff is being released. I want to look and see what other documents are available. But anyway, I will talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good afternoon. See y'all. Bye. Hold up.